Let me ask, you must have done some photo shoots and gone back to the lab and had no shots, right? Something must have gone wrong ever? Never?
Bro, I'm Danny Hastings, bro. What's wrong with you? Like, yo, check your man, bro.
My bad, man. I apologize.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the coastline of Connecticut and welcome to the Shorecast with your host, Apathy.
You know what I'm jealous of? That you can wear sunglasses. Like, that's a cool flex, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like I can't pay attention when I have sunglasses.
Oh, yeah?
But
No,
I want to.
Right.
Because there's some days where I feel like I look like a mutant and I look crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I wish I could pull up on people like for photo shoots or shows.
Yeah, you have to, man. Come on.
Oh, it's so dope. It's so hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just one thing I can't do because I feel like, you know how like when you're driving and something happens and you got to turn down the music?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about sunglasses. Me and you will be talking and I'll be like, yeah, so what? I'll be like, hold on a second. I got to take them off. But I love that. I'm jealous of that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, I love sunglasses, man. Plus, you know, they protect my eyes.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Driving, it's cool, but I can't do it in the house.
No, but think
inside.
about what he's saying. He's
Yeah.
a photographer. Think how critical that is.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right?
The only glasses that I don't wear are the ones that mess up the color. Like, so red glasses, I don't wear red glasses. I don't wear yellow glasses.
Yellow tint.
You know what I mean? Because if you wear them, you take them off, all of a sudden, like the blue. You ever notice that, right?
Right.
So it's forcing your eyes always being forced to like color correct. Your eyes are the ultimate color correction, device.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
correct.
So they're forced to color correct. That's why when you take the yellow glasses off, all of a sudden like everything kind of starts turning blue because they've been forced to trying to white balance.
but those yellow glasses are needed for us old folks driving at night.
I get they filter certain things out, right?
Go and get yourself blue blockers. Yo, you remember that
Remember
shit?
that shit back in
blue
the day?
blockers?
Yeah.
My man with the sombrero. Yo, do you know why pirates wore eye patches?
No, why?
So pirates wore eye patches because when they would be going back and forth between the top with the light and the darkness, they would have an eye patch. And then when they went below deck, they would flip it up and use their other eye because their other eye was accustomed to the dark.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it color corrects, it white balance, it adjusts. We have an iris.
Yeah.
So the iris opens and closes, right? Depending upon the light, right? So same thing with the camera.
That's the science behind the camera is
That's
built
the
like a
science.
human iris, right?
100%. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shorecast. I am Apathy. This is my co-host, Al Mayo. And today, I'm freaking out saying these words. We have the absolute legendary Danny Hastings.
Legendary.
Ooh, Legendario, baby.
There he is.
This is crazy to me. This is crazy to me that you're here, and it's not lost on me how much it means to me and how appreciative I am. You know what I mean? And it came about so quick too.
Right. What are you doing? Let's go.
Yeah, you sent me a text and you're like, "Yo, I'm around. What's good?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
And like
bro?
10 minutes later, he tells me, I'm like, "Oh, we're on the next day." I'm like, "Damn."
That's how roll.
I told Fixer and Al, I said, "Drop everything you guys are doing. Danny Hastings is coming to town."
Man, thank you, man. It means a lot to me, bro. And we have a history, and actually we never shot together. So we're gonna shoot this year, right? So, but we know of each other for such a long time, you know what I mean? That it's like I have to check those boxes. Right?
Hold up, you're gonna do a photo for it?
Oh,
A photo?
100%.
And I get to be in the photo? I'm honored, yo. I am honored I get to be in a Danny
Well,
Hastings photo.
you'll
I'm
do
gonna
the-
be in it somehow, some way.
You can handle the catering.
The cater. He's gonna pull up with the pistachios.
Nah, I'm
Hey,
photo bombing
listen.
all day. I don't care.
I know the best spots, for food over here. so that's
Yeah.
why
If you
I'm
want the
saying it.
best spots, I
Yeah,
better be in
want
a
the best
photo,
spots.
damn it.
Yo, you know what I want the most, and it's like bucket list. I want a Danny Hastings with any color grade, because that's like the key. You know what I'm saying? Like the color grade. If I had a Danny Hastings photo shoot and I had a color. I don't care if it's a blue or a green or a red. I'm gonna sit and stare at it. I'm gonna set my alarm for 3 a.m. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna stare at it for a while and go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's like when you've made it. You know,
that was the original Instagram filter. That's what.
No, you were though. You were though. I mean, that was part of. So you know, when hip hop meant that it is me. It means the most to me, almost more than anything other than my kids. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is my everything. But when I was young and when this was at its peak and I was 13, 14 years old, 93, 94, 95, I started looking at these covers that I was obsessed with, right? And I started getting CDs and cassettes. And, you know, I have a whole pile right here of the greatest of the greats. And I see Jodeci, Diary of a Madman, and I see Starr Hard to Earn, and I see you know what? I don't like I told you. You and I talked about this. It wasn't even this old yet. It was KRS-One, Return of the Boom Bap. It was YZ, right? Ghetto's Been Good to Me.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Rumpelstiltskins.
Right.
And all of a sudden one day it clicked. I was like, these are all interestingly the same. And then I opened them up and I'm like, yo, this is by the same guy. Because, you know, when you're 13, you don't really, we read liner notes and shit, but it was so dope to make that connection.
You know, that's so special to me because when I was 13, right, I had a collection of records myself, you know, and hip hop was not around at that time because it was like 81. I was in Panama. Right. So we didn't get hip hop. We got rock and roll, we got reggae, we got salsa, merengue, all that stuff, and I would collect those records, right? And my uncle was a huge Stevie Wonder fan, right? So you know, I would look at all these soul and roll records, and I would read the liner notes,
right?
You know what I mean? And I would just kind of like be so fixated with the album covers when like Pink Floyd came out. Like Pink Floyd album covers were so philosophical that you will just be looking at, you know, at this prism with a light going in there, and just colors and, you know, a dark side of the moon, and then you
animals,
see, pig flying, you know, on top of a factory, and then you're like, what
iconic
is
album
this,
covers,
right? And then you will just be like, listen. You didn't have anything else to do but to listen to the music and just look at it and just laying in your bed or couch or whatever, just looking at this album cover. And that's how, you know.
That was your inspiration?
100%. Wow. You know, in here in this book, well, you're going to introduce the book, but, you know, my first stab at an album cover, I recreated the Beatles cover, Meet the Beatles. And I was 19 years old. And I recreated that cover on me. I used me as a self-portrait. And I was like, shit, I can do that. And then I was like, that's how I knew I want to make album covers.
Dope.
You know.
Did you see the documentary about hypnosis?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
So
something like Round Corners or something like that on Netflix.
Yeah.
About the guys that did Pink Floyd and
Led Zeppelin.
like Wish You Were Here was like one of my favorite album covers. It's like a businessman shaking a hand and the guy's on fire. You know, think about the metaphor.
That's your favorite album cover?
That's one of my favorite album covers. I have so many, bro. Like, I have so many favorite album covers, like AC/DC, Highway to Hell. It was so iconic. And I think, like, I borrow from all of those, you know, to get to a 36 Chambers, you know, to get to a Hard to Earn, right? So it was, you know, it's almost like I'm kind of like the last line of those guys that really listen to, because one, they're not making as much albums as before, and two, you know, I come from those analog days. You know, I was used to go to the dark room. That was part of my life.
Damn.
You know, I will do a shoot with you today, and then tomorrow I'll go to the dark room, process the film, get it in the larger, print the way I wanted to, right? And that's why I was able to do blue, red, and how I was feeling with the music. And I will put my Walkman and, you know, keep listening to the music until I was like, yeah, this feels right, you know?
So you must feel good, though, because today's day takes you 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, well, it depends on when you're
maybe
speaking
not
about.
5 minutes,
yeah, exactly.
But not hours in a dark room.
Well, it's a little bit of a bittersweet, right, situation.
I was going to ask you that. Do you miss the hands-on?
Yes, I do. What I do not miss is the chemicals.
Okay,
I
right.
think the chemicals were bad.
Let's get in
everybody.
the weeds on that a little bit, just because everyone talks to you about a certain thing probably, but what's that like? Is there a high rate of photographers who maybe get cancer or something like that?
They are, especially the ones in the dark room. You know
And
what I mean?
that's getting
Because
contact on your hands or you're breathing
yeah,
it?
I mean, like there was when I started doing developing, right, and processing film, and there were guys that were like dipping their hands on the developer and the fixer. Right. You know what I mean? That shit goes into your skin, goes into your blood. You know what I mean?
Bro, my dad used to do floor installation.
Yeah.
He would get glue all over his hands. He would take a can of naphtha and pour it on his hands and wash, or
more
gasoline,
chemicals
and just wash his hands with gasoline or naphtha because he wanted to get the glue off.
Yeah, exactly.
Madness.
Yeah. So I actually, I'm a germaphobe a little bit, so I was always using my tongues. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Good for you.
I'm not touching that shit. You know
Good
what I
for
mean?
you.
So yeah, and then one time I actually left a bottle of fixer, and it was kind of like open or it wasn't fully closed. That shit, like in 2 years, became like the Stranger Things. Like the fixer came out of the bottle. Like it gets corrosive. It's corrosive. So it comes out of the bottle, like the wall starts to corrode. Like it's super corrosive.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So imagine what that does to the water.
Exactly.
And we did
bad.
like
It's
100
not
years.
good.
We did 100 years of that. You know what I mean? So I'm good. Like when people tell me like, oh, you should film again. It's like, no, I'm not shooting film anymore.
Because it's
And
the
I'm
same
okay with
process.
that. Yeah, I did that for 20 years.
It's not good for the environment.
It's not
for
good.
you.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm okay with digital. I can recreate everything that I could do back then. And there's a lot of people like, I'm a film photographer. No, you're not, bitch. You're not a film photographer. You're a
you're
film
not, bitch.
Yeah, you're a film connoisseur. You like that, but like I had to go. Me and the guys that know how to do this type of photo shoots on film. We used to shoot like 80 rolls of film.
Right.
To get a
80
few shots, right?
To get a few shots, man, because that's what people don't understand. You know
How
what
much?
I mean?
How much did those rolls cost?
Right now, when people ask me to be like, can you shoot film? And I say, you can't afford it.
Yep.
Because I will need $5,000 at least on film.
Wow.
At least on film, because you have to not only buy the film, you have to develop it, right? And then you have to do contact sheets. And that's not the prints. You know what I mean? Now each print. So by the time you finish, like you really need like, a $5,000.
Years ago, you and I talked about that because I remember, you know me.
Yeah,
I'm always, I'll hit up
I
producers.
think I told you that shit.
You did, and I'll hit up producers and I'll be like, yo, and I'm so chasing the 90s, you know what I'm saying, that I'll hit up producers and be like, yo, do you have any unused beats from 1992 or 93 that you never used because you couldn't clear the sample or whatever?
Yeah.
So I hit you and I'm like, yo, can we shoot on film to make it look like 93? And you go, App, listen, it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you can't walk with one roll of film, bro. One roll of film on a 120 is 12 shots.
So let me ask you,
That's
what
it.
was the
wild.
learning curve, and what was the time curve for you to go from analog to digital,
Oh man,
where you're comfortable?
It was a hard process, bro. It was really like I was almost left out, in the curb, bro. Like it was, I didn't see it coming. I didn't understand what was happening. Nobody told me. There was no internet like that. Like
Right.
this, like, hey, film is gonna die. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
So
yeah.
I was
Gone.
literally going to the lab every week, taking pictures, going to the lab, processing. A community of photographers will go to labs in New York. There was like dozens of labs that everyone from David LaChapelle to.
So
to
you're
her-
seeing these guys.
Oh
at
man,
these-
you will see those
What are
guys
these,
in
photo
the
labs?
labs. Yeah,
Photo labs?
Photo labs. Yeah, like he has his printer. Julie was printing all of David LaChapelle's stuff that you see in his famous books. She printed all that shit right next to me.
Who's somebody who you met in those circumstances that tripped you out?
No, David LaChapelle is one of them.
He's
he was
unreal.
I met him. I shook his hand. I was like, wow, bro, like, this is crazy, but it also, like, in retrospective, like, we were all doing great things.
Yeah.
We were all doing great things, and people admire my work as much as they his, but like mine had a lane, right? It was hip hop. It was beauty, love, culture, you know, New York City. It was great, grimy, right? So yeah, and I was also doing techniques in photography that were very difficult to do.
Right.
I was mixing all kinds of lights, you know, and I understood when it came to photography, I understood it all.
Can I say this about you?
Yeah.
You, to me, are the DJ premier of photography.
Thank
because
you.
Think about it like this. Think about it like this, right? Premier's changed styles so many times from how he sounded on the first Gang Starr albums to when he went up to Hard to Earn, where he got really experimental, and then the Chop. Like, you can't pin Premier down, but you can always tell his style. So you can't pin him down, but you can tell his style, and he's been wildly consistent. I put a lot of thought into this about comparing you. You are the DJ Premier of photography.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, man. I'm a big fan and friend of DJ Premier. So to put me in that category, I'm like, wow. Yeah, I mean, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
man.
You.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a fitting category, for sure, though. Fitting category.
But so I've noticed that about you. Like, you are so experimental, and you go out on a limb. And here's the thing, you know, I talked to Cool Kim about you, right?
Yeah.
And I said, what can you tell me about your experience with Danny Hastings? He said, the one thing I can tell you about Danny Hastings is I'm paraphrasing whatever Kim said, but this is what he said. It's like you are 10 steps ahead and no one even knows what you're doing while you're shooting. And it's just like, and you don't even care to express it to the person. You're just on some like, trust me shit. You take it because you're already playing chess. You're 10 moves ahead.
Yeah.
You don't even need to explain it to anybody.
Yeah.
And it just comes out like, Jeru, who the hell would have thought to do this at that? And sun rises in the east. Who the fuck would have thought of doing this? And it's just like, I'm taking this picture of you, but it's going to be nothing like this. And he doesn't even care to explain that to you. He just goes.
Right. Well, actually, for the Jeru, he already have hired another photographer, you know, and I shot Hard to Earn, right?
Yep.
And that's where I met Jeru. And then I heard his music during the photo shoot of Hard to Earn. I was like, damn, man, you know, they were playing their stuff. I was like, I need to work with this brother, right? And I just met him, so there's no, you know, relationship and friendship yet, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you kind of break down? I was like, I need to shoot you, right?
Yeah,
and then
right,
when I say like, yo, what's up with y'all on cover? He's like, I already hired somebody else. I was like,
damn.
Man.
But then when I listened to it, I was like, I have this idea. Because, you know, the line of like, I blow up spot like the World Trade Center.
Right.
And disclaimer, this was, you know, 15 years before the
Before
you know,
9/11.
the 9/11. So there's no disrespect or anything like that. To that, the concept came from, you know, Escape from New York. And the metaphor is being the last survivor of a rap hip hop battle.
Apocalypse.
You know, Jeru the Damaja is you know, is a survivor, right?
Right.
So that's
by the way, I fucking love Escape Snake Plissken, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Snake Plissken, are you kidding me? Go ahead.
So they came from that, and then I had this vision, and I was like, man, if I could only show that to him, you know. And I had one of my boys draw it, Hugo Bravo. He drew the sketch. Bam, we sent him the sketch. I have the sketch, you know.
You still have it?
I still have the sketch. Oh, actually, no. I have the copy of the sketch, but I still have it. I still have the sketch, right? So I sent it to him. I faxed it, and Jeru on the other side now, he's telling me, it's like, D, when I saw that shit, I was just be like, fire that photographer. He's gonna do that. Okay, forget that. But you know, I was a photographer. I was a photographer that understood creative direction, album covers, and music.
Yeah.
You know, when
Trifecta.
When we were talking about the Hypnosis covers, right? And we're talking about you being young and AC/DC. I grew up with my parents having a lot of rock albums.
Yeah.
When I looked at Moving Pictures.
One of my favorites.
Moving Pictures.
That's the holy grail of album covers, bro.
When I looked at that cover as a child, and I'm listening to Tom Sawyer, and I'm not fucking around, I'm not exaggerating. My imagination was lit on fire.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and it was dope. Because it was just, there was so much to imagine and question, like, what are these guys doing? What is this place? What's going on
Moving
here?
Pictures. They had like, they were going up to a museum. Everybody was carrying museum pictures.
It had a dark energy to it, like it was a little bit ominous too,
100%.
for some reason, right?
Fly By Night, they had a owl
Yeah.
2112, the Starr, like
Yes,
all of those things are like engraved in my head.
So when I'm a kid and I get this, I'm 14 when this comes out,
Yeah.
and I look at this,
Right.
and then I press play, and that intro where they redo the Fist of the North Star thing, light is the app,
Yeah.
bro. I'm just like this. I'm having a 4-dimensional experience.
100%. Yeah.
And you started with like this is all so fucking important. You started with the visual, and then once you're looking at the visual and listening to the music, and all this is in here, it makes it 4-dimensional as opposed to 3-dimensional. It's so important.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's so special to me because I was that kid doing that with those records, and little did I know I was just like feeding art. Like that was like my education. Right?
Well, additionally,
Like,
these albums became classics, so they mean even more. And so you so happen to have shot these photos on these albums, which makes it even doper.
yeah, it was.
dope.
I don't know. I talk about it in my book. I talk a lot about it because a lot of people.
Let's talk about the book.
Okay,
Yeah. Tell us about this book.
All right, so this is the first volume of 3, right? So this is Act 1. So the book is called Danny Hastings Legendario or Legendario, however you want to say it.
Legendario.
Yeah, it's fine with me because it's like scenario in Spanish,
Yeah.
English,
Right.
tomato.
Right,
Let's call this
right.
whole
It's
thing
dope.
off. Like,
I like it.
however, it doesn't matter. So yeah, Danny Hastings Legendario, and in Act 1 is Rough, Rugged, and Raw. What you're gonna see here is my developmental years from living Panama, because I grew up in Panama, and coming to New York, right? There was a learning time period, right, that prepared me to be ready for my first assignment, right? So I take you from leaving Panama, which I was the director of my high school yearbook, and by the time I left Panama, I already had 1,000 pictures under my belt. I was already a photographer.
Yep.
At 15, 16 years old, right? I come to New York and all of a sudden I get hit with, wow, this is the city of Taxi Driver. Escape from New York.
Right.
I'm like, where am I? Because my mom, I was born in the States. A lot of people don't know that because of my English. People thought I was born in Panama.
Where in Cali are you from?
I was from Sacramento. I was born.
Okay.
My
Sacktown.
dad was in the Air Force. But my dad got sick, and then we had to go back to Panama. Right?
Okay,
And
okay.
then
Did your father pass from?
no, my father passed this year.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
No. But my father has a really interesting story. It will be a full podcast because my father had a situation where he refused to go to Vietnam, and he had a high rank.
Wow.
And my father didn't come out normal.
Why did he refuse to go to Vietnam? Because the political implications.
He was dropping bombs in Vietnam.
He was like Muhammad Ali refused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was not that famous.
Of course. But
Did you happen to watch the Ken Burns documentary about?
100%. Yeah, it hits home. So there's a lot of speculations and things like that. But I learned to respect that, and at the end of his life, I kind of like was present for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but yeah, that's what we went.
what was your first paid gig?
Wait.
Yeah,
Hold on.
So
I want to stay on that. I want to
Okay.
stay on this with him going. So you went when your father got sick. You went to Panama.
Yeah.
Back with your mother.
my mom went back to Panama with us, right? Me and my brother, and we grew up there from 1 year to 16.
Oh,
So you're a year old moving back to Panama.
I went back to Panama, yeah. So
Damn.
now my mom is like, yo, you a gringo.
Oh.
You gotta go back. I was like,
Yo.
what does that even mean? It's like, you're American. And she's like, you got a passport and we're going back.
How was it economically and everything that was going on in Panama in the 80s?
I mean, it was good. Panama is like, it's, in the 80s, it was good. I mean, and people would come from humble beginnings, but there's always food.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't grow up in luxury at all. We came from like the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Santana.
yeah, but how do you know that?
Because I study everything about you, bro.
Okay,
I study everything about you.
Santana is the fucking hood,
Right,
right? So
right.
so it is we come from there, and you know, but it was beautiful. It was like, you know, there was always food on the table, you know, big families, bro.
Right.
I come from big, there's like 40 of us.
What a
you know,
blessing.
cousins.
That's fucking
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, and
bro.
everybody's together. So, you know, everybody would be in one apartment together. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I grew up, right?
Dope.
So coming here was like, wow, wait a second. You know, now I'm in this, you know, I didn't speak the language, bro.
So you speak just straight Spanish.
Straight up Spanish, like,
Yeah.
you know, like I grew up speaking Spanish. So, you know, my first, I went to college, right? I went to Hunter College.
Wait, hold on. So you moved from Panama directly into New York. What
Into New
borough
York.
are you in?
Queens, Jackson Heights.
So you have, I mean, there's New York is a great place where there's a lot of Spanish infrastructure.
yeah.
So you're at a point where you're still, you know,
Yeah, there's a lot of.
it's not like you moved to Wisconsin. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
all of our friends in Jackson Heights, they were all Colombian, Latino, Black, and they you know, they understood Spanish and they spoke Spanish because they were immigrants, children of immigrants, right? So they will speak English. So they will make fun of us, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, with the accent and stuff like that. And then we would learn in English and the lingo and the flavor. You know what I'm saying?
When you moved back here, was it with your father as well?
No. My father became a nomad. My father became like a movie, like he just became and walked the entire world.
One day I would love to do
Yeah,
a
we're gonna talk
podcast.
about that.
That's another whole story, huh?
I love stuff
Wow.
like that though.
So
Right.
we're in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I get a camera, and then, you know, I start taking pictures of everything I saw, bro. Everything, because, you know, I came from that, right? And in the first few pages of the book, I take you to the journey of you know, from my high school. This is me recreating.
The Beatles.
Yeah, I was 19 years old. And
How many people have redone that in hip hop alone, right?
Yeah, so I was 19, you know, and I was like, I had the Beatles cover in front of me, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. There's only one light.
What was
You
your
know?
aha moment with lighting? Because that's what I notice about you. As
Yeah,
well. Was it that? Because I'm seeing that picture. Was
Well,
it that?
I was reading all kinds of photography books, all kinds, like any photography book that I can have my hands on. I was reading it, right? In fact, I wanted to be a National Geographic photographer.
Which is
to me
dope. Yeah.
was the pinnacle.
That's
of
elite
That
photographer.
was, yeah. So coming from Panama,
Yeah.
I already had all these pictures of like native, indigenous, cultural photos, you know, archaeological sites, the Panama Canal. I had all those pictures there that kind of trained me for that. So that was like, and I went to one of their offices and dropped my book off. And
You
said-
guys messed up National Geographic.
Yeah,
you
you guys
messed up,
fucked up,
man. Real bad.
fucked up
and
bad.
I had a big rejection, and I was like,
Wow.
okay, you know, you wanna stop for a second?
No. My Dunkin' cup right there, fixer.
Okay.
Good looks. My bad.
So then I you know, being in New York, I started taking pictures of New York. You see in here like Twin Towers. I took this in 1987. You see,
It's a beautiful
here,
photo.
The Panam building. Okay, the Panam
Wow,
building.
that's not there no more. Pan Am's
Right.
gone.
Yeah, it's the MetLife. That's the MetLife building. That's the
Do you happen to know
Grand
the year of
Central.
that photograph?
87.
Oh wow.
87. This is all 87. Look, like the city looks empty. There's only the Chrysler building. There's no buildings around it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a long. That's the Pepsi Cola sign. There's no buildings, bro. You know what I mean? Across the water. This is me and my mom when we came in 1986. And then I take you to the journey of what I was doing in New York during those years, right? And then I got my first photo lab job, which was a Spectral, one of the biggest labs in New York. So I started studying light, right? You see the blue that you like,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You see the red, you see the
Yup.
green, black and white. I started testing. I was 20 years old here, you know, and
That's
and
deep right there.
Yeah,
That's dope.
so I was doing all kinds of stuff with light. This is all the photographs I did before, you know, some of my friends from college, some of my friends from the lab, friends from the street, from the hood. So my first paid gig was House of Pain, but I'm gonna tell you like how I got to this, right? Because here I am, I'm a 20-year-old printer, 21 at the time, and then I started to realize, I started now building a collection of hip hop records.
Right.
You know, so I had anywhere from Kool Moe Dee to Rakim to Boogie Down Production, right? So that's what was happening, you know, then. And then as I was looking at these pictures, like, damn, I want to do these album covers, right? And reading the liner notes, the epiphany came. And I was like, wait, these record companies are right here in Manhattan. They're like 2 blocks away from where I work.
Right.
You know, Rush Management was in the Village, right? Downtown. Sony 550 Madison. You know what I mean? Like Universal was in 8th Avenue. And I was like, I'm here. I'm here, bro.
Right,
you know,
right.
So, you know, the books will teach me that as a photographer, I had to have a portfolio.
Exactly.
Right? So the pictures that you see in here, all pictures of my classmates and friends from Jackson Heights and people that I work with, I printed those and put them in a book.
Wow.
Right?
That's smart.
And then I started taking that book to different places, right? Got a bunch of rejections, right?
What did that look like for you? Because I'm curious about that process. Like you go up to these labels. You see
you
the
bang on a window.
You see the secretary at the front desk.
No, you know what I did was, like, for example, I collected all the names, right? So it was not just the addresses. He'll tell you who the art director was, you know, who the photographer was, and who the marketing A&R people are. So I will go to 411. We had a thing called 411.
Yeah, 411.
And you will die. And he's like, can I have Sony Music phone number? They'll give you the dispatcher, right? And I will see that Dave Bett, Jackie Murphy, they were the creative directors of those companies. Shout out to Dave Bett. Jackie Murphy, rest in peace. She's one of my angels. And then I will see, like, oh, Dave Bett is at Sony. Or he was at Relativity at that point. And I will call the company and I'll be like, yeah, can I speak to Dave Bett? You know what I mean? And then he will pick up the phone, or his secretary will pick up the phone and be like, yeah, I'm a photographer. And they'll be like, just drop the book on Tuesdays. We do portfolio reviews on Tuesdays. And I'll be like, yo, I could drop my book there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I will just hop on a train on lunch, you know, because I was working at the lab. Go to, you know, Relativity, Rush Management, Sony, RCA. Now, when I got to Sony, it was like fucking high riser. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you'll have to go to the front, and
security.
You know what was the security will say? You got a delivery, you got to go to the back.
Yeah. I can see that.
Shot, bro. Shot in the heart. I was a messenger,
Outta
bro.
here.
Yeah.
You know, they treated me like a messenger, bro. That shit. It was
Like,
my own people, too. It was like, motherfucker, you
Damn.
Puerto Rican telling me this shit. You know what? I have an appointment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
With Mr. Dave Bett. You have an appointment? Yes. You know what I mean?
Damn straight.
right.
Damn
But
straight.
right before we'll step in and be like, delivery, back there. Go to the back of the building.
Bro.
You know, so, you know, I had to go through that process, right? And, you know, later on, I'm dapping everybody later. You know, once, you know, mid-90s, I was like, bro, I was a familiar face. You know what I'm saying? But that was the process to get to my first gig, right? So while I was doing all of that.
That was the grind.
While I was doing all of that, right? And then just getting a lot of rejections, or, you know, maybe, yeah, your stuff is interesting, but, you know, I didn't have nobody big. I had Tito from the lab. I had my cousins, you know, I had, myself in it, you know, Ted, you know, from the lab, you know, my NYU college friends, you know, so it was that's what it was. It was nobody famous, right? And then the owner of the lab says, hey, Danny, you got all these great pictures. Why don't you print them and put them on the window, right? So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll print them up, and I print them up and put them on the window. A bunch of Black and Latino kids that look like artists, maybe artists or not or whatever. And one fateful day, right, I get a phone call from upstairs from the store, and says, there's a guy named Freddy Fab 5, something like that. And I was like, you mean Fab 5 Freddy?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, he wants to know who took those pictures. And I was like, are you fucking serious, bro? Like, he was the face of MTV, bro.
Sure was.
Right.
You
Sure
know what
was.
I'm saying?
Yep.
And he was like, he wants to meet you.
Nice call, huh? That was
Bro,
a dope call.
nobody famous.
I would
bro.
have melted, bro.
I was
would've-
melting, bro. Like, you know, everybody, like, he came down to the lab. He came down to these stairs to see who was Danny Hastings, the photographer. I don't know what was in mind, but I know he was an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew he was graffiti. Like, he was art. Like, he knew, you know.
You knew he was the right person.
When
to
he
ask.
came down to the lab, everybody in the lab was like, yo, he coming to see Danny? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh my
Yeah,
God, what
right,
is
right.
he coming to see
That's a
Danny?
Elevation.
flex. That's a
you.
flex.
It is a
You
flex.
know, I was like, Mr. Freddy, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hello, Mr. Freddy. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, yo, man, so you do this stuff, man. You know how he is, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, this is really cool, man. And I was like, yeah, he's like, hey, man, he told me this, man, I'll never forget, man. He's like, hey, man, all I can say is, I mean, you got an eye. You got an eye, kid, and you could do this. He told me, you got an eye, you could do this, and you could do it. You made for this. For somebody like that to tell a young kid, that's why I do a lot of mentorships. You know, I mentor the youth, no matter who you
That's
are.
very important.
Yo, he gave me such a
boost of confidence.
a boost of confidence, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
tell him to this
huge.
day, bro, like, you the first one to discover me. You know what I mean? And man, it was such a beautiful moment. And sure enough, I went to the not long after that, the Source magazine got my portfolio, and they were like, "Yeah, we like your work. We're gonna give you some work."
Did that have anything to do with Freddy or not?
No, that didn't have anything.
That was
to do
just
with
him-
it. That was him just giving me, like, you know, like love. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Like, for my art.
I'll tell you.
Right?
You know what? I think those things are a little boost from God, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why.
100%.
When I was young, when I was a teenager, and this meant everything to me to take the next step to be an artist, to not even just a fan. Rakim validated me in different art, but the thing is, nothing came of it. It's not like Rakim and I ever collabed,
Right.
But that validation fortified me inside that no one can tell me shit because Rakim thinks I'm nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Premier, all these guys, the validation when you're a young man. So for Fab Five Freddy to validate you,
Yeah.
it fortifies you. It builds your foundation.
And you know, I at that point I was getting rejections,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh man, you know, like maybe my book is wrong, or maybe I need to change the subjects, or maybe my photography is whack. I don't know. Like, you know, how do I get to this point?" And then, boom, John Schechter from the Source magazine. He was
Yes.
the editor-in-chief. Shout outs to John. He was the first one to see my talent, and he was like, "You know what are you doing on Tuesday?" And I was like, "Well, you know, I'm working at the lab, but I can do whatever I want." He was like, "Come to Central Park and you're gonna take pictures of House of Pain." I was like, "What?"
Just like that.
Just like that, man. From that portfolio, from these pictures that you see here,
Yep.
from these pictures that you see in these pictures, he gave me the job, and I didn't have any money. I had a camera, my flash, my strobe, and I knew the books taught me that never take pictures with a flash on the camera. I never did that.
Right, on top of it.
Because the moment you do that, there's no differentiation from that and a snapshot,
Right.
right?
Right.
Or what do you call the disposable
Automatic
cameras,
disposable,
right?
okay.
There's no difference. The flash is on the camera. The light is the
Stationary,
same.
one spot.
You know, and it's paparazzi, right? You know what I mean? No disrespect to people that do that, but that's what I learned. So what do? I take the flash, I connected a cable to the hot shoe of the camera. I got a regular umbrella, a fucking regular umbrella, and I put aluminum foil on the umbrella so it could reflect the light.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ingenuity.
And then I tape my flash, and when you see this contact sheet, you could tell like the flash was missing. Like it was like 2 pops, dark.
Yep.
2 pops, dark. You know what I'm saying? It was.
Is that why you're showing that contact sheet to kind of show everything that was happening?
And you
right?
could tell like I didn't know how to. You know, I was like, horizontal, vertical, like, you know, I was just, really finding.
Well, that's pre-digital days, so you had to hope you got
This
the
is-
shot
Yeah, like I didn't have any, there was no way to know what was coming out.
until later.
Yeah, all you had to know is like I had my math. You know, I have to be a mathematician. I need to know like distance, light, power. You know what I'm saying? And I need to be testing. That's why these tests were so instrumental, because I know at 4 feet, I know I need to be at 5.6 of FA with this flash.
Correct.
And bouncing from this thing. I didn't have a meter, you know, so I had to pre-test everything. You know, so by the time I got to House of Pain, I was ready.
Right.
Opportunity came. I was ready for the opportunity. That's when success happens.
Nice.
I love seeing this, that you do this, because even this, like seeing you being built as a photographer and an artist, like this looks similar to an Eminem picture you shot. You know what I'm saying? And like there's certain things where you're like, okay, I see where this is moving his direction in that way.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting with the House of Pain picture too, it's like you had all those other photos what I just saw, and then you get this one, and this is lightning in a bottle, right? Yeah. Like this is crazy, and it looks like it's so good. It looks like it just always has been for all time. Right. You know what I'm saying by that? It's just a perfect photo.
And it's also like, so it was like without knowing, I brought a studio to the streets.
Right.
I brought like a professional photo studio to the streets.
Because of what you rigged and what you hooked up.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that when the source saw this, they were like, wow, this is amazing, right? So bam, they paid me $60, bro.
Oh.
And I was like, yes, $60.
What year was this?
This was 92.
That's pretty good money in 92.
No shit, bro. 90,
People
like
looking at this now, they're like $60. $60 in 92 is a good
like
payday.
$500 right now.
Hell
bro.
yeah,
You
that's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
fucking
For
payday.
2 hours?
Isn't that funny, the humble beginnings? Like one time I was in Rhode Island and I won an MC battle, and they gave me $400. Shout out to Mr. Complex who had this. And I was like, I was a teenager. I was like, $400 for what? I thought I was rich, bro. So appreciative though, right?
Yeah, exactly, bro. So you know, then I started doing my math. I was like, shit, if I get 2 of these, you know, a week, that's 120.
You can
If I do
survive.
4, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's why. And then the next one was $500.
Oh,
What was that? What was it?
shit.
Do you remember what the next one was?
Yeah, the next one was this was a group called No Concept. And I'll get to the story of this, but it was a single, and I met them at a music convention, and they hired me for this. It was a single.
Were they on a
They
label?
paid me $500. Yeah, it was a label. I can't remember the name of the label, but they printed some, and you know that was it. But the next one was $1,000.
It's going up.
It's going up.
It's
baby.
rising.
What if I just say the price
value's
from
going
today
up.
is not the price
correct,
from yesterday?
Correct, yeah.
So there was $1,000, and it was KRS-One Return of the Boom Bap, my first album cover.
Listen, I'm just gonna vomit all over this table.
crazy,
This
yo.
is so. I don't know
Legendary.
what. So you know, obviously at this time, what was going on? Chris had been Boogie Down Productions.
Boogie Down Production, yeah.
I don't know why. All this is KRS-One sitting there using the headphone as a microphone, sitting in a studio. I was obsessed with this picture. Mm-hmm. It should be simple. It shouldn't be that ill, but it fucking is. I was so in love with this cover. Yeah. I was like, damn, it was so cool. And I'd look at it and just stare at it. This is incredible, man. It's just crazy. The coloring, just the raw essence of it, the moment in time that it is. It felt exactly like what the album is. Did you hear the music before?
On this one, I heard some of the music, but he was very he knew the concept. He knew what he wanted to do. He was like, remember, like I wanted to be like a basement where I'm doing shit like raw, you know, and I was very familiar with recording with the headphones, super familiar. Like, we used to do that shit normally. Like
for those of you who don't know, you can in a lot of these type of headphones back in the day, you could plug these in and use these as you wrap into the piece, and you can use it as a microphone, and that's what a lot of people would do.
I don't know how we discovered that, right? Like it was just like a common thing. Like you could actually record your voice.
I don't even understand how the fuck it works. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day.
You mean this could be speakers now? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You know?
Yeah, right. So, convertibles.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, and he was very in tune with what he wanted to do, and we did it. I remember he was so playful, man. KRS-One has really good energy, really good positive energy. We went to the trains, bro. This is the Metro North. This is the fucking metronome. That train, it speeds like 100 miles an hour, bro.
Right.
We went into the train tracks, bro. You know what I mean? And
That's where the photo shoot was?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's right there, bro.
Chris is the real deal.
Yeah. We went everywhere, man. And
Chris is a real writer, man. That's crazy.
Right? And then after that, I did the Rumpelstiltskins. Right?
Hold on, stop right there. Rumpelstiltskins. This was a single. There's a lot of obscure 90s hip hop that is my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, this is my favorite time period of hip hop where there was all this bohemian and almost like super underground hip hop that was coming out on these labels. Rumpelstiltskin, same thing. They had the song "My Attitude Is Fucked Up and Real Shitty." Oh my God! I remember right when it starts. Attitude is, and he's going all these things. It's on, guys. It's on streaming too. If you guys want to go to Spotify, look up Rumpelstiltskin's Attitudes.
It's a
Danny
fun
shot that
album.
cover.
It's a fun album. I'm in touch with LS.
Okay.
He's doing really well, man. He lives
Big
in
up to him.
Hollywood.
You must be doing really well around this time too, right? Because the money's coming in.
Well, I had 2 jobs only.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I was doing really well in 95, 96. That's when I was popping, bro. But this was
Great
still.
years.
This was still. That's why the book is called Rough, Rugged, and Raw. It was just me with a camera and just finding testing all these effects that I already learned and tried. So now it's coming in, prepared.
You built an arsenal of.
I built an arsenal of
Let me ask you:
effects.
are you also a collector too? Because we're collectors. We collect a lot of stuff.
I was collecting, vinyls at that time. I was collecting vinyls at that time. That was where I was going. Like I had a lot of records.
What was that from?
Wow.
This was for the Source magazine too. This was the Source magazine now was like, hey, let's call Danny. Danny's doing some good work. So we have another assignment, another $60. You know what I mean? So they were calling me, constantly to do. It was almost like pre-Chimo do, I would say. Like
right.
this was.
Did you ever have a cover with them?
Yeah, I'm about to share.
Okay, cool.
Did you also do the unsigned hype for them? Like when
No. I was like, and something happened between the administration when John Schechter was part of it, and Benzino came and he muscled,
and fucked it all up.
Something happened. I'm not gonna say. I'm really not too well versed on what happened, but one day I came and everybody was gone. Yeah, everybody was gone. New administration, Benzino was more prominent, and then he took the business where he took it, But then, that's when I think she moved more into, like, then there was really not she had more of a presence, there. And so I was getting hired left and right, but I started shooting album covers, bro. So, like, that $60 was not making it for me anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but I did get to do one Source magazine cover, and that was Cypress Hills.
I love
what year? 93?
That was 93. Yeah.
Insane in the Membrane, and then
no, this is How Can You Just Kill a Man?
No. That was 91, 92 was How I Could Just Kill a Man. 93 was Insane in the Membrane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I swear it on my
Summer.
life.
Yeah, I believe you. You're more of the. But this is 93.
You know what I loved what you
This is
did,
93.
and I know you're gonna talk about it.
No, actually, no. I think this is 92, bro.
Maybe it's leading up.
No. Yeah, this is 92.
Okay,
This
so
is
it's
no.
leading
This
up.
is leading up. Yeah, this is 92 because this was How I Can Just Kill a Man. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not Insane on the Membrane. This is 92. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is 92 because it's before this is in chronological order, by the way.
Okay.
So it's before the Wu-Tang, which is 93.
So he started that must have right been on the cusp, because he started growing out his fro when he was getting ready. So that was probably they had already been rocking with Killer Man, and then that's you could see, but that's dope, man. I love what you did with the cover. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very different Source magazine cover. It was like very colorful. It almost looked like hand painted. You know what I mean? It was really beautiful, and there's no other cover like that.
Right.
Do you have that Source magazine hanging in your house?
100%.
I assume you would, but I'm just asking.
I'm not trying to.
Of course.
I feel crazy to Danny Hastings. I'm not trying to bust you out, but it's 93.
It's 93. Yeah. Okay,
well,
so you're right
at
about
least
it. Yeah.
at least that's when it July of 93.
July of 93. Yeah.
You probably
So you're
submitted
right,
it in 92 and they printed it in 93?
It's still chronological because it was before the Wu-Tang. That's for sure.
I love that picture
know
of
what I mean?
Sen Dog right there.
Yeah,
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that.
Did you do that?
And-
Did you do the trippy shit with the cover? The way you made it almost looks like High Times.
We collaborated with John Schecter's team.
Okay,
Yeah.
word.
That's why like it was really John Schechter and somebody else. I couldn't remember, but yeah, I collaborated with them and they saw because I was hand painting a lot of pictures too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they just went with it and it looked beautiful. He was like, they put a lot of work and love in that cover. And then I gave them the blue singles, right? Like the blue with Sen Dog. That Sen Dog picture for me is like super classic.
Like literally classic.
Yeah.
Did
It's-
you develop good friendships with a lot of these artists?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you know, we're super cool with each other, man. There's a lot of love when we get to meet, and I bring pictures to them. You know what I mean? And it's just a capture. I froze them in time.
Yeah,
Right.
they
You
must
know,
have-
in a time where they were also developing.
yeah, that's what I was
You
thinking.
know what I mean? So it's very special for
It's
them.
iconic.
I
moments,
could see,
man.
yeah.
It's
It
very
is dope.
special, not only for me, but for them. It's like, bro, you caught me at that moment where I was like, you know, yeah. So it's a lot of love, man, and also a lot of the fans have these pictures because they basically license them for merchandising, and you know they did posters with this, and yeah, it was a great relationship, man. Muggs is
That's
really
nice.
super cool. We're cool with each other.
I saw you just passed somebody who's one of my favorite MCs who flew under the radar. He's one of my favorite MCs. Let me be very clear about that.
Oh, I know who it is.
Lord have mercy.
I remember him.
Do you
He
remember
is-
his name before Lord have mercy?
No, I didn't.
He was calling himself Moore.
Moore?
Yeah,
Moor?
yeah.
Wow, that's ill.
Yeah.
I think I first heard
That's how
Lord-
I met. Like I didn't know it was the same person because I met him as Moore.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
He rapped like a robot. I thought he was dope, but he was
Yeah.
like a robot.
No, he was like a
Lord have mercy. And
now and forever.
Yo,
it's why
that
evil that men do. Mental mind
Yeah, it was-
essential winter.
it was weird
He was
and different.
He was like,
crazy.
he's knowledge, man. He was dropping
his-
science. dropping science.
He sound like this crazy Baptist preacher, medieval.
it was dope.
Oh, he was incredible,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
His work on Flipmo. Shout out to Lord have mercy. What a
Yeah, and then we
incredible
didn't work
MC.
after this. We were super cool with it. We got on the phone a couple of times, like, yo, remember that? He's like, yo, D, those pictures are my favorite. We always been meaning to work. I you know, it's one of my need to work with him again, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Lord have mercy. Around that time, it was like we were driving in Queens and we saw this burned out fucking place. It was a burned out bar. You know, I think it was in the news that it was some sort of like mafia related fucking burnt.
And you just showed up?
And we went there. We got inside the place. There was, you know, it was
wild.
just
That's
open.
wild. Yep.
It was open. It was just burnt out. And we went in there and we
Instead of
just
snapping
fucking-
away?
How
the
important is
sun-
that? How important is the Guerilla style to you to just be like, yo, fuck it, let's just go do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
do it as much anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got too much to lose right now. but-
Right.
you know what I mean? But back then it was like, yo, I've been put on the floor by the cops, bro. Yeah, we were like basically trespassing and doing all
You
this
got
stuff.
caught?
So, yeah, 100%, man. Like,
Can you think of an example of that?
yeah, we went to. I was with a guy named Do Dirty and Spank. You know, Spank was a producer. Shout out to Spank. And we went to the. You know, there was like an abandoned stadium in Queens that is all burnt out. It was like an Olympic pool and shit like that. That shit, I think it got demolished already.
Is that the one where Wild Style? They had some of the imagery from Wild Style.
No, Wild Style I think was more downtown in the amphitheater.
Oh, that's
downtown.
right. It's the amphitheater. Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
But this thing was like so we went and said when we came out, the cops were there, bro. Put us all on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm
Great
saying?
memories, but
Yeah,
not
like,
at the
you know,
time.
shit, like,
What
so,
were they
you know,
saying? Y'all trespassing? blah, blah.
trespassing, you know, we're gonna put you ran up like all our licenses, you know, gonna put you up for a day, all this shit. But thank
man.
God, like we were just, you know, we're able to. I guess they didn't want to do the paperwork that day, and it was like, fuck it, let them go. You know what I mean?
Who were you with that day?
Spank and Do Dirty. Yeah, artists from Queens.
That's wild.
So yeah, so you know, I stopped doing that. You know what I mean? Because now Danny Hastings after 1995, you had to get permits, insurance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It was like
You've
the
been
real deal.
elevated then.
Oh, 100%, right? You know what I mean? This is the rough, rugged, and raw.
Yeah.
Book.
You
That's
did
what
what
that
you had
shit
to
is
do
cool.
to
Yeah.
make shit happen then.
You know, so So yeah, man, this Cypress Hills is here. YZ, the cover of YZ.
That photo, because I had that single. That's the single cover, right?
No, this is the
That's
album cover.
Okay,
The Get Has Been Good to Me.
So I had the vinyl. I had the vinyl of that album, and that it looks. I already knew YZ from, you know what I mean, from his other joints. And that YZ. That it made him look like a superhero on that cover. You know what I'm saying? Like the ghetto's been good to me. Return of the Holy One on that. What a great, powerful picture that was. And once again, your fucking blue coloring, man.
Right.
I saw that. And I was
tint,
like, God.
the blue tint's there.
And that was accomplished by basically for those photo nerds out there. I took 64T, which is tungsten film, used daylight strobe, and then cross-process. And the cross-process was taking a film that was supposed to be a slide film, positive film, through negative chemicals, and that shit made the contrast like pop.
Yeah.
Pop. And then, it was before Photoshop. So, that was the Instagram filter before Instagram filter,
the hard process.
So real quick, here's what I want to know. You take this shit, you take the negative to the lab.
I developed the negative.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You take the negative you develop it in the lab, okay?
Yeah.
You get one and you're like, yeah, this is it. You're holding it in your hand. What do you put it away? How are you delivering it to the label? I've always wondered this.
Oh, in a box, yeah.
Like, so you got it, you carefully.
Well, no, the negatives, I own the negatives.
Okay.
So I never give the label the negatives. I own all my negatives, right?
You own your masters, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
Dope.
That's why I could do this book.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
right.
I will go to the lab. I take the negatives and I just look through the whole photo shoot. And
you're treating this like it's once you get this down and you get the photo, you're treating it like it's very valuable. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Putting it in a box.
Yeah. Well, at that point, I probably was less careful with it. I was just printing shit and ripping shit off, burning it. I was burning negatives. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Burning them?
Yeah, I was burning negatives to get like the corrosion on the actual film and then print that. People were like, you're crazy. I was like,
you were experimenting on the negative.
Everything, bro.
Like Photoshop.
Yeah, you'll see.
Let me ask, you must have done some photo shoots and gone back to the lab and had no shots, right? Something must have gone wrong ever? Never?
Bro, I'm Danny Hastings, bro. What's wrong with you? Like, yo, check your man, bro.
My bad, man. I apologize.
Yo, so has there ever been a point in time where you have taken these photographs, you bring it to a label, and the art department does something that you're not really in love with your shit?
Oh man, a couple of there's sometimes artists make really interesting decisions on the choice of pictures. Sometimes I will have a really favorite one, right, and recommend them, but sometimes the artists will like, oh, I don't like that angle of myself, you know what I mean, and then at that point I have to let them do what they do.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see if you shot an iconic photo for an album and you didn't necessarily agree with the one they used, and now you go back and remix it. And you'd be like, yo, here's this album from Danny's perspective.
Yeah, I tell you, man. One of the heartbreaks of this era, of this couple of years of jobs was that, towards the end of '94, I got hired to do Supercat's second album, which was not second album, but the follow up to Don Dada.
Right.
And they flew me to Jamaica, and I came up with the most beautiful pictures from Jamaica.
I saw it looked fucking incredible.
So iconic, man. He was so cool, man. We spent 2 days with him taking pictures. He took us through Kingston. You know what I mean? And it was just like so organic, cultural.
You're spontaneous?
Right. I plan things out too, you know what I mean? And some stuff is spontaneous, some stuff, it's more art directed. And I deliver the photo shoot, and then the label, one of the executives says, the president of the label says it's too ethnic.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Wild,
that means that they didn't want him to look too, the environment and him to be too Jamaican, So when you see the picture that they chose, it wasn't even my picture. They had another photographer, take a picture. And he looked like a bad boy artist. You know what I mean? Like he was clean cut. Not, and then it was like a white background. You know what I mean? It's called the Struggle Continues, and it was not a Danny Hastings picture. And they used one of my pictures inside the album, so my work still made it, but I was heartbroken.
Yeah, that is.
Is it that cover?
Yeah, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? So look at that. Look at that as a follow up of Done Data,
right?
And look at my pictures as a follow up on Done Data. You know what I mean?
Man, this is so fly.
Yeah. He's polished over here.
Do you have one that you picked that you would have chose?
I love
the big one.
I love these ones. The sunsets. You know what I mean? He was just so. Oh, there's one where he's like, oh my God, it was just so amazing. That photo shoot was beautiful. Even my friend B Plus was like, that was one of my favorite photo shoots. And in retrospective, like. I'm sure that while Apache was also dealing with maybe not just on the photo shoot front, but also on the music front, he was probably dealing with a lot of that record company crazy shit that they were, known for, And then the album, wasn't as big as the Down Data album, right? So, wasn't received as well musically, right?
The cover they used is just so nondescript. It's just like whatever.
Yeah. So it was like maybe it was people not understanding culture and music that were put in places of power. And that was always like my struggle too, because I'm such a music inclined person. I listen to your music and I already know the look that you need.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I saw that, I was like, wow, man. So there's certain things that I can't even fight because now you get removed.
Right.
You get completely
removed.
Blacklisted. Yeah, you get completely removed. I was removed from the project and from that particular project, and I was, they went in that direction. And look, the album didn't do an impact as much as the other ones.
When you did Hard to Earn, what blew my mind is this has just always been hard to earn for me, right? Mm-hmm. But then when I saw your shots, it's a darker red. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I like them both.
Yeah.
Right? But was it interesting to you, too, that they went with this orangey?
No, I did the orangey.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I did the
dope.
orangey. But later on, and that I did the orangey, and basically what I did was I dialed more red on top of the red.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I dialed more red, and I was experimenting in the dark room. So the shot was already shot on tungsten film. On daylight film with tungsten lights.
Yeah.
So daylight film with tungsten lights turns everything red, right? So it was all already.
So that's like the one that I have that you
exactly.
gave me.
The print, right? So
that
like
right
this, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the norm because it has blacks now. The cover doesn't have blacks, but then I put more red into it, and then for some reason it was like, yo, this is kind of cool too. And I sent them both to the art department, and they chose that.
You know why I like this though? Because there's nothing else that looks like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that looks like it.
Yeah.
It stands out so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more red. There's a little more black in there, but in a print, in a photo, in a real photo from the negative, this is how it's gonna come out.
Right.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of There Is a Dark Side, though.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah,
just
the cover kind of,
color?
because that's the red cover. It was like, it just had that same feel.
Maybe just the color, but I thought There Is a Dark Side looked like a whole.
It was a white
looked like a
background with
Funkadelic.
red. Yeah.
It reminded me of the funk because it was the Funkadelic cover. That's what it. It's all.
There's right.
Yeah, brain rot or whatever that is.
You really love this picture, huh? You call me for this one. You're like, yo,
classic.
that picture.
It's just so classic, bro. It's just, I remember opening up the cassette and seeing them. They just look so fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was Gangstar Foundation. And that's when Jeru was blowing up, when Speak Your Clout was on there. Mm-hmm. Malachi had his joint on there. And Group Home was starting to, it was just such a dope time, man.
All those records are in the second book.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I love the Gangstar Foundation. Shout out to all the Gangstar Foundation. Just so incredible.
Fun fact,
Mass appeal.
Fun fact, this right here is where I shot the 36 Chambers.
Oh, same building?
Yeah, same.
Where is that?
It's called the Angel Orange Sands Foundation. And it was an abandoned synagogue at that time. It was dilapidated. The building was coming down. And I befriended the owners. And I will go and shoot there all the time. It was my studio.
What borough is that?
That's in LES. That's in the LES. It's Norfolk and Houston. You could go and visit it. It still looks exactly the same way.
No,
the
fuck
36
it.
Chambers
You guys
album.
heard it right here.
Yeah.
You guys heard it right here. Go check
Angel
that.
Orange Sands Foundation. So that brings us to the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Yeah, man. Yo, listen. Here's what I was just gonna say about that. Right.
Yeah.
First of all, let me tell you this, and this is from a hip hop fan perspective, because you did this. You fucking did it. So you're a part of it. But for me, I'm sitting there. You know, we hear "Protect Your Neck." It's incredible to us, amazing. Then before I saw this cover, right? My friend Christina played this for me. She had a copy of it, a dub. I these two of my best homegirls, Tara and Christina. They had a copy of this, right? Tara Savardi,
Yeah,
and Christina Trask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Both I know.
You're right. So Christina played me this in her bedroom. I remember her mother chilling downstairs, and she's like, press play on it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, and I knew "Protect Your Neck," but I'm hearing the kung fu sound effects, and I'm hearing all these joints. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy, right? A couple weeks go by, I see this,
Bang.
and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I couldn't stop staring at it. And I'm not exaggerating, bro. I'm not fucking around. I couldn't stop staring at it. I'm like, I believe them.
Right.
I believe they're ninjas. I
Right.
believe they are fucking kung fu assassins.
What an iconic album cover right there. That's
Bro,
dope.
Thank you.
everything about this
Iconic,
is fucking
huge.
perfection, man.
Thank you.
Everything about this is perfection. Like, I've seen you talk about this multiple times.
Yeah.
But and I know all the guys weren't present at that shoot, right? But what was it? And I know you told the story about the Jack the Rapper. That's where you saw them?
Yeah.
Okay, so but what was it? Was it that inspired it? And they didn't even realize that, right? They didn't put two and two together.
No.
They did that at the event. So let's talk. Can you go into that story? I'm rambling on because this has me bonkers out of my mind.
Yeah, man. There was, there's a serious events that had to happen, in order for this album to be what it is in visually, right?
Right.
And it happened in such a, almost like that God, right? Like energy,
Right.
right? That puts you in a place because something bigger and something, there's a destiny, right? That has to happen. So you got to be put in a certain place in order to get to those steps to get here, right? And I'm gonna start by saying that I was networking, right, a lot. So I would go to any conference that was happening, and now we had I had a couple album covers and photo shoots and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I heard about this Jack the Rapper conference.
It's an event.
It's an event. It was in Atlanta. And me and my boy Richard Bravo, who was one of my best friends then, was like, "Yo, D, we gotta go to this thing and da da da." And he was like my Apathy. Like he knew hip hop from the beginning to the end. Remember, I grew up in Panama, so I was kind of catching up.
Yeah.
I came a few years late, but this guy, man, from the Gazelles to the Adidas to the Sherlings to
He knew it all?
From everything, everybody. Like he was my hip hop translator.
Yeah, that's dope.
So he was like, we gotta go there. I was like, all right, cool. We bought a couple of tickets, and then YZ, who was my good friend, he also kind of validated. He was like, "Yo, D, you gotta go to Jack the Rapper." Da da da. So me and Rich went, and yeah, man, it was like a Disneyland of rappers, bro. He was insane, bro.
Right.
That shit was like everybody was there, bro.
Right.
From like LL Cool J to like fucking Busta Rhymes to Rampage, Leaders of the New School, Wu-Tang, like and people also not known were there because it was a showcase.
Right.
That all the labels put together, and then will send their acts to, just kind of like promote and, radio and publicity will come and interview people. I saw Busta Rhymes and ODB battle in front of me, bro. Wow. In the middle of a Marriott hotel.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you guys
They did a record together too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
and
Wuha
were-
remix.
Yeah, they battling, and then that shit was like, imagine a Marriott hotel, 1990. All these hip hop heads going in the middle of the fucking lobby, and it's just
That's wild. No, I
Yo,
can
it
imagine.
was
That's wild,
bro.
as
Like
shit.
the city got, I'm gonna say the city got destroyed, but there was like stickers everywhere, bro.
Right,
The whole,
right.
you know, because at that point we all rolled with stickers.
Yeah, that was it.
You know, every stickers, they had to clean up that city after that.
bet.
Right? You know what I mean?
bet.
So I was there, and you know, one of my angels, Jackie Murphy, rest in peace, who gave me the Rumpelstiltskins and Return of the Boom Bap. So that
So
had
she
to
was in
happen.
Jive.
No, she was at RCA.
Okay, RCA. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So she was RCA. Rumpelstiltskin was RCA.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So she was the creative director for RCA, right? The top, right?
Yep.
And then I already, you know, she was already my client and friend, and she was like, you know, left a message in my answer machine like, Danny, we got this crazy group that I think that you'll be perfect for. You know, they're called
Here it
the
is.
Wu-Tang Clan, right?
Wu-Tang.
And I was like, oh shit, Protect Your Neck was out.
Right.
So we had the white tape. We all had the white tape.
Yep.
I was like, yo, Protect Your Neck. Oh yeah, let's protect you. As a matter of fact, they're performing here at Jack the Rapper. She was like, go and see them and go and meet Prince Rakim. He's the leader, right? So I was like, all right, cool. You know, so me and Rich Bravo can validate this whole story. We make our way to the backstage, right? And, you know, we're going through the chambers. Now we got to meet somebody who's like, you coming to see here? Who? Who are you? Who the fuck are you?
The checks and balances to get to the point.
RCA. Oh, shit, RCA? Okay. That's all I
Next.
used to say, RCA.
Yeah.
Yo,
Next.
somebody from RCA is coming, you know?
Right,
So I
right.
made it all the way to the RZA. And you know, when I met the RZA for the first time, you know, he's like, yeah, you gonna do the album cover? Okay. You know, this is me telling him that, right?
Right.
So
he,
he's like,
he didn't even know. He's just like, yeah.
He don't even know who you
okay,
are.
yeah, we'll meet in New York right now, but you know, but I see him, he's preoccupied with something else, and they're all kind of sizing the situation, and I was just like, yeah,
You
so
could tell something was brewing.
something was happening. Something was happening, bro. So, and me and Rich, you know, Rich is like the type of like he's like smoking blunts with people, you know what I mean? Like he's mingling, kind of like you
He's
know,
in his heaven right now.
Yeah. So I'm just really trying to seize this opportunity for the album cover, maybe talk or whatever. So, you know, at that point, he don't know who Jackie Murphy is. You know what I mean? RCA people, like he knows Steve Rifkin, you know, like the people who made. But this is like now another level of where they were stepping into. This is early, bro. This is
Right. So they
before
don't know all the label heads and everything.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right? So I was already kind of plugged in on that side, right?
Yep.
So then, you know, I see he's like, yeah, okay. So we'll meet in New York, man. We'll meet in New York, says RZA says, and all of a sudden they kind of like agreed to something, and boom, they put a fucking stocking mask, bro,
White masks.
in front of us.
Yep.
You know, and Rich and I, Rich is like, yo, some shit is gonna go down right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're gonna rob the place. You know what I mean? Like, yo, shit is gonna go down. And then we're just like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, all of a sudden they fucking go to the stage because we were backstage.
Right.
And there's a lot of other people in there. You know what I mean? And they just run to the stage and we follow. You know what I mean? When we follow, we get to the, you know, we're like on the line of the stage, and all of a sudden one of them steps in the front while another group is rapping. This is a showcase.
That's not me. Oh,
Another group is rapping, and all of a sudden they grabbed the dudes and fucking threw them off the stage. They grabbed the mics, you know, the masked man. You know what I'm saying? And then one of them goes to the DJ. You know, feedback, all of a sudden they take what the fuck is going on? You know, they get the sound man, you know.
they taking over the show.
They take over the show, man, and all of a sudden, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to That shit went bananas, bro. Like that, like
The crowd lost it.
Yo, they lost it, bro. You
Legendary,
know what I mean?
legendary.
That's my introduction to the Wu-Tang Clan, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That needed to be in the fucking show.
Listen,
bro. Why didn't they put that in the Wu-Tang show?
I've been telling this story for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
15 years ago, that video came out. And I'm in the fucking video, bro.
Oh, that's
Oh,
dope.
You know
I
what I'm
gotta
saying?
look that
up.
video.
So
up.
you gotta look for Jack the Rapper,
Okay.
right? Wu-Tang Clan 1993. So here's a screenshot of that video, and that's me in the back.
Yes.
All right. That's me in the back.
That's so
all right.
fucking dope.
So that's me, 22-year-old Danny, like witnessing this like firsthand. Why was I there, bro?
Right.
Why was I there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had no business being there.
Yeah.
But I was there, bro.
This
How
was
old were
93?
Yeah, 22.
Okay.
22 years old at the
Oh,
time.
I see you right here.
You see me, right?
Is that it?
I
That's
damn
it.
sure see you.
That's
right
it,
there.
bro. 15 years ago, that shit came out. Me and Richie was like, yo,
That shit is
remember
dope.
that day? And it was like, that's us right there in the background. When I saw my freaking
There you
I got
are,
goosebumps,
man.
bro,
Holy
because
shit.
I've been telling this story for
And-
30 years, and
and
all of
then
a
it
sudden the
validated
video
you.
fucking
Right.
comes out,
Right.
and I was like, yo, there you go.
And it
You
validated.
look like
This
a
is how
young
it happened.
teenager
Yeah.
just staring, yo.
Bro, I was, so
pretty
here,
dope.
here I am. So now all of that happened. Now come to New York. Everybody comes to New York, and now I'm gonna meet the RZA. I meet the RZA at Firehouse Studios, right? The studios where they record 36 Chambers, and the entire Wu was there. I met Ray, Method Man. You know what I'm saying? I gravitated to Ray. Ray and I have been friends since then. You know
That's
what I mean?
dope.
Yeah,
That's
man.
dope.
And I gravitated. And Ray was like, yo, listen to this. Listen. He rapped Can It Be So Simple in this ear, bro.
See, this is
You know what I'm
iconic.
saying? So
This
I
is
was like-
crazy.
He's like, what you think, man? I was like, yo, that sounds good, man. And Richie was like smoking blunts with everybody. You know,
Right.
that was my brother right there, man. And then boom, I met RZA, and RZA was like, yo, the album is called Enter the 36 Chambers, like Enter the Dragon. I was like, yeah, I was already up on all the Kung Fu flicks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we used to do, right?
Right. Watch the Kung Fu flicks.
Yeah, so into the, so we started talking, and when I saw the logo, I was like, yo, we could put this logo like a monastery. You know what I mean? Like a monastery. And he was like, yeah, you could do that. I was like, yeah, man, I can. I mean, they only had the logo on the white tape.
Right.
That was it. It was on the Bible, on the book looking thing, right?
Right.
And then we were like, I was like, yeah, man. And Richard Bravo was my set designer. So I was like, yo, we need to carve that logo in gold. You know what I mean? So I got the budget from Jackie Murphy. Jackie actually put me in touch with the Agent Orange Sands Foundation.
What was it made out of?
It was made out of wood.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I figured.
Yeah,
Somebody
it was
cut that with plywood.
Like Richie cut it, man. He hand painted it and made it look like a fucking, forged gold,
Right.
metal thing, right? So, and then we hanged it up in the back. He got candles, we got all the candles, you know what I mean? And we were
Does
ready.
anybody still have that Wu-Tang?
That's what I was going to ask.
No,
the same
we-
thing.
we-
Where is the Wu-Tang sign?
that logo, they used it for another video. We gave it to when they did
30,
yeah.
Mystery of Chess Boxing.
There you go.
Okay.
That same logo, but they didn't light it right. Like I laid this shit crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyways, so we did the whole set.
Made it
Photo
look
shoot.
like a monastery. It looks like it, by
a
the way.
monastery, right?
It looks
it's a
like
fucking
it.
monastery, bro. So we did it, and I'm calibrating my light, everything. The guys
can I
are
see
coming.
this one?
Yeah, the guys are coming in. In their own time, and then we waiting, and RZA didn't want to shoot
Why?
because only 6 people are in there, and not the whole team. RZA's loyal, so he's
Right.
like.
He didn't want nobody to feel left out.
He was like, nah, we're not gonna shoot, man. He's like, I'm like, yo, bro, like, I mean, I gotta put all this energy into it, and he was like, nah, not all of us are here.
Who's missing?
Yeah, you got Master Killer and
Method Man, wasn't it?
and Method Man. Yeah, those 3. Method Man was a big, was one of the biggest guys. They got a single called Method Man, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the light bulb went on, man. I was like, yo, what if you do what you did in Atlanta?
Ooh, that was your idea?
Yeah. That was my idea, bro.
Dope.
That was my
That's dope.
idea, bro.
That's iconic, yo. It's
If
iconic.
I wasn't in Atlanta, if I was in place at that point in that time,
You wouldn't have known
by
to say that.
divine design, okay,
Yep.
this album cover will not be what it is today. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't
So-
have thought to put them.
I wouldn't have thought. And then the first thing that he said, he was like, not your phases? I was like, you don't need to. You're one unit. You're the Wu-Tang Clan. And he thought about it for like 15 seconds. He was like, let's do it. Of course, he had to green light it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, bro, like, we went in and
Who's
the rest is
that's
history.
ODB in front?
No, that's Jizza.
Jizza's in front.
Jizza's in front.
Okay. Who is this? I always thought that was Meth right there.
Looks like a face back there.
Yeah, you can see it with the.
No, this is Jizza's in the front. Behind him is ODB. Behind ODB is RZA.
I think that's RZA to the back right.
No,
isn't it?
RZA is the one with the knots on the.
Oh, okay.
On the head, and I know because I had the contact sheets, so I see who was wearing what.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the shoes and the jeans.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So ODB has shorts. So ODB goes behind Jizza, then ODB, RZA, then Ghost. Raekwon is the little dot on the back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All the way in the back by the Wu-Tang logo, and to the right is Inspector Deck.
Oh, that's Inspector Deck right there to the right.
Those are the six.
Wow,
You
that's
know what I mean?
wild.
So Jizza's number one?
Jizza is the first one, yeah. You could tell by his hands too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. Look how good it looks right there too.
Yeah. So I was practicing with different lighting, different films, and that's the 36 chambers, folks.
That's insane, man. That's absolutely insane.
After that album came out, bro, like those posters.
Your stock.
My stock went up, bro. This price from
That
today
was
is
it?
not the
Yeah,
price.
yeah,
of the
that's
price.
it.
Yeah, that was a good run, bro. That was a really good run. And the guys obviously did a fantastic stuff, amazing stuff. We circled back 30 years later. RZA hired me to be the creative director for Wu-Tang Productions. We did a couple of years, together, and I've traveled with them all over the world, doing the stage visuals, taking pictures, filming everything. Like, it was great, man. It's amazing.
When you shot these albums, let's say, Keith Murray, right? Most beautifulest thing in the world, Sunrises in the East. You shoot it, it goes into production. You get this right here. You get the physical piece.
Yeah.
Are you listening as a fan? Are you throwing that in and you're excited to be a part of that?
I'm listening as a creative director. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, as a creative director, like listening and to actually put the best price. Actually, I directed this one too.
Right.
I actually hired the graphic designer, and I was in there throughout the entire process of putting everything together, because at that point I was telling the labels, hire my guys to design it. You know what I mean? And
You're putting people on.
Yeah, we did the Raekwon built-in for Cuban links from head to toe. You know what I mean? Not just the photo shoot, but also the graphic design and all that stuff. And
where did you do that Last Supper design? Where
we had a studio called Dakota Studios that we used to rent. Shout out to Matt Seth. He was the owner.
Where's that, in New York?
Yeah, that was in New York. That was in Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
At that point we had budget. We have Fifth Avenue budgets.
Yeah, things are different now,
Things are
bro.
different
Things
now.
are
Is
different.
that the price
But
is
that
up?
I'm gonna leave that conversation for the next book, because that's volume 2.
Got it. Yeah, that's real. That's real. I love that.
I guess this is the time to ask. You've worked with a lot of legendary artists.
Yes.
Are there any artists that you really wanted to shoot?
Yeah, I want to really shoot Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes Busta Rhymes is very dear to me. He's always been very supportive. He gave me all the Rampage projects. You know what I mean? Like his cousin. And then me and Rampage as family. We call each other all the time, and we have a bond. And I never shot Busta.
Come on, Busta. I know you got an album coming out.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear right now. Busta Rhymes shot by Danny Hastings has to happen. That has to happen for hip hop.
Plus, I love Busta, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense that we haven't worked together. So it'll happen. You know what I mean? So
Busta's a wild guy, man. I worked with Busta. I was working with my brother, with this dude Scoop DeVille, who I was part of a group with. And we work with Busta. Busta's a wild dude.
You was in Electra, right? Together, right?
No. I was on Atlantic.
Atlantic, right.
So I was a part of the group with called Get Busy Committee with my brother Ryu and Scoop DeVille.
Okay, right.
Scoop DeVille was blowing up with all these records, and he did the one for Busta Rhymes with the House of Pain sample. You know what I'm saying? And we went in the studio to work with Busta. This was 2009.
Yeah.
So it was a long time ago too, right? Yeah. And David Banner was in the studio, and Busta's just he's just a force.
He's a phenomenal artist. Like he's got energy too. Like his energy comes from within and just expresses all these concepts, and very, very artistic.
His energy
as well. So
crazy.
I definitely wanna work with him.
Yeah,
that's one of my bucket lists right there.
I can't believe that hasn't happened already. You know, you talk about Rampage. I was a real big Rampage fan.
Yeah.
From Beware of the Ramp Sack.
I did that cover too.
I know you did. I know you did.
Shout out to my cousin Rampage. He's from Panama too. He's part Panamanian.
Boom, 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 boom. Beware of the Ramp Sack.
Yeah,
I love that
Rampage,
record, bro. That record's so phenomenal, man. And then, did you do the second Rampage with Wild for the Night?
Man.
Okay.
No, yeah, like something happened. There was a, let's say executives that didn't want me around or something like that. I started getting a lot of people.
Politics kicked in.
Yeah, politics kicked in. I was like, doing a lot of stuff, and people wanted to control their own thing, and not the artists. The executives behind the companies now were. There were cliques now, like art cliques,
We talk about all these huge classic, iconic albums that you shot. We talked a lot about your iconic albums. And then my number one personal, it's tough for me. There's two albums that are my favorite. Organized Confusion, Extinction Agenda, which you and I were talking about. Rest in peace to Matt Do. And then Illmatic is my top album of all time.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm seeing this, and I know what that time frame is. That's 93, 94.
94. This is before. This was the publicity shoot before Illmatic came out.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, Illmatic was coming out, and they hired me to Rap Pages. Shout out to B+.
Yeah.
He hired me to basically shoot the cover for the magazine for this highly anticipated rapper that was coming out. And, I got introduced to Nas, and I was like, wow. He was having a meeting with Serge, actually. I do remember very vividly.
Shout out Serge.
Yeah, shout out to Serge at his label at Sony. And there was like, after the meeting, Nas will come down. You guys will take the train to Queensbridge, and then you will take pictures of him out there, and you'll do the cover for the magazine, Rap Pages. And I was like, yo, can we shoot in the rooftop? And he was like, okay, we'll ask him. And then Nas got access to the rooftops and of Queensbridge. And yeah, we shot the cover of this is the cover of the magazine, right?
So that was the project's rooftop.
Yeah, this is Queensbridge.
Did you know you were doing a legendary shoot at the moment? Did you know how iconic it would be?
I know, like, Nas has this calm energy about him that like, I don't know, it's also godly, you know what I mean? It's also like he radiates, and I know that he was in a beautiful state where, in retrospective, he was like a millionaire, but in idea, because
right.
the album hasn't come out yet, but there's this whole anticipation, but here we are taking a train. You know what I mean? Like, imagine seeing, like, hearing the label, like, oh, we're going to ship 500,000 copies because the demand is so high. But you're still taking a train.
Yeah.
He's yet to blow.
You know what I'm saying? So I call this beautiful, transitional moment of a kid. Because Nas is a kid here. He's like 19 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we take the train together. There was no posse, no assistance on my end. It was just me and him. No entourage. I remember I was carrying a lot of bags though, because I had my tripods. I was ready to shoot in the dark because I knew I was going to the projects, and I knew that I was going to the rooftop. And in the rooftop, there's no lights. So, and I don't have LED lights. I don't have this type of lights. It's flash, and it goes to dark. So I knew enough to like make sure that where to put the lens, right? So he could be in focus, because I'm in the dark. You got to understand
completely.
This, right? Completely. It's black, right? And the flash has to be in a certain way that when he hits, I don't know what he's doing because it's film. You don't see what you're getting, so you have to rely on your on
instincts,
and on your math.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
how many feet away he is, the aperture, where to put it at.
This is not just instinct. This is like knowledge.
Right.
You know what I mean? So because everything could come out black. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, and we hang out. I went into his apartment, and I'm sitting down. Remember, I respected the apartment because I was in there for that. But I took a moment and appreciated. I kind of felt like we had the same mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the way she had, the little details, like the mantles and, the frames. And it was a beautiful, humble.
You know what I
home.
love? This is my favorite part of the interview, this story you're telling right here, because I think this is the most beautiful thing, what you just said about that transitional state where somebody who's so iconic and legendary doesn't know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And these humble beginnings are still in place, but greatness and this legendary status is just right on the cusp, right over the top of this hill. And this is always fascinating to me about hip-hop guys and rappers, right? Because I grew up similar in a lot of ways, where we grew up in grimy little places on government assistance, watching Sesame Street, not having a lot of clothes, not having a lot of shoes. And I know what these apartments that we grew up smell like, and the food and all these different things, and that humility and that humble beginnings. And then he becomes Nas, and he's about to release Illmatic, and he does all the things that he does. That moment, what you're saying about you guys on the train doing this is so beautiful. No big entourages, no big assistants, just this is the rawest. Like when I finally get this book, I pre-ordered already. When I get this book, I'm gonna sit and take time and think about that and absorb that, and that's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, this is very special to me, and when we got to meet, I brought him a big 30 by 40 hand printed King Tut, the Nas I Am. And I rolled it for him. He was like, yo, shit. And he went crazy for it. And I was like, yo, I did that shit from the train. And he was like, I love that picture. So that's
that
my
became
next,
the album for him?
that's my next gift for him, the one on the train with the beeper, because it's like you see Queensbridge, the train, the coat that he's wearing, the beeper, like, New York City, bro, the lights in the back moving,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's so iconic, bro. Like
You're going to get that done and gift it to him?
oh yeah, I'm going to print this one big
That's dope.
for him.
I want to
next
say
time.
this too. I don't want to jump ahead because this is the first volume. This is what's important,
Yeah,
right? This is what's for
exactly.
sale right now. But I do want to say this, and I think this is a good sneak peek that you do have more stuff coming. People need to understand that too. There's more to come. There's more volumes to come,
Yeah.
okay? This is the one that's coming out now, but there's more volumes. But one interesting thing, and I don't want to get too deep in the story, but I just want to give people like a little sneak peek trailer. The Nas I Am cover, a lot of us forever thought that was just CGI.
Oh, that's no CGI, brother.
That King Tut mask, did you think that was a real King Tut mask?
No, not at all.
So here's the thing, and it wasn't until I saw his photos the first time, for almost how many years, I thought this was a CGI. And I just told Self this on the phone yesterday. Me and Self are hip hop wackos, right? And when I told him that was a real King Tut mask, and I'm like, nah, bro, you don't understand. They made the real fucking deal.
Yeah, we made
don't
him.
tell too much.
So
of the
he
story
wore
right
that
now.
for the photo shoot?
No, it's a different process. We created a sculpted piece. And the piece was sculpted by Dave Cortez.
Okay.
So it was a process where Nas had to wear a mold in his face, like clay, right? So we could take the actual imprint of his face, right? We created a mold, take the mold off, fill that with yeso, with clay, and then now we have Nas's face imprinted in the, in the thing. Then the sculptor comes and sculpts with clay an actual bust like King Tut, and then he paints it gold with gold leaf. All the pieces of stone that you see, they're hand cut. It was a real process, bro.
How long did he have to do that mask for?
Funny thing, we almost killed Nas doing it. Yeah, the first time the mask, the clay was going into his nose, and he couldn't breathe. And then he's like, that's like, yo, it's like, oh shit, he can't breathe,
You have to put the straws in there?
Yeah, well, the clay went into the straws.
Oh.
So that was the first shot. Luckily, he was a good team player. He was like, all right, let's do it again, but don't fuck up this time. Or I'm out of here.
Well, as a collector, I like to know where there's that mask at today.
It decomposed. Yeah,
Ooh.
because
Right.
it's not a mask. It's a bust made out of clay, but the clay that we used was temporary for the shoot. You know, if we try to say like, hey, we should do this for like forever type of thing, but the label wasn't interested in that, and the budget would have been like 10 times what it was. So little by little, it started crumbling. You know what I mean, and you know, started falling
to the dumpster
apart.
Now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now it's probably nothing now.
That hurts right here, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you do these things for the commercialability of the record, right? And you know, at that point, you do think ahead. We did brought it up. It's like, yo, we can make this thing to last forever, but the label was like, it's gonna cost how much? Hell no.
It belongs in a museum at this time.
Yeah. The artist, fun fact, Dave Cortez recreated it again and gold plated it this time. So he has a piece that is gold plated.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
But before we wrap this up, before we talk about the final notes on the book, you shot Sister, which was Missy Elliott's first group. I remember I had the single for Brand New.
Yeah.
I had that single.
Yeah.
I Can Make You Feel Brand New. I love that record, bro. Shades of Lingo were incredible.
Shades of Lingo, right? Super. So shout out to Dallas Austin. I did everything for Dallas during that time.
And last thing, what was it? What did you shoot with OC?
That was another Rap Pages. I was like, you know, when the source didn't happen, I guess, you know, she started doing a lot of that stuff. You know,
Right.
Rap Pages, you know, was basically that was my outlet,
Right.
for magazines.
Right. I here's the thing. I want you guys to notice too. This is all just the first volume, right? Like I said, man,
2 years.
Danny's gonna have to come back, and we're gonna have to go. There's so many other stories, and the hip hop psychopath wants me to sit with Danny for 5 hours and talk about everything. His portfolio is too massive to cover in one of these fucking things.
Yeah, and that's one of the decisions I made. I was struggling for the last 20 years to try to do a book. You know, I was like, how do I I have 40,000 negatives.
That's wild. That's a
40,000 negatives. How I start to like scan and put it in? Now it's just like looking at the file and I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. It's overwhelming,
You know,
isn't it?
kidding. So then the light bulb came in. I was like, oh, I don't have to do one book. I'm going to do 3 books.
Right.
You know what I mean? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
How do you safely store this footage?
I mean,
the
negatives
negatives.
negatives are in special fireproof file cabinets. You know what I mean?
So they don't degrade as well. So you must have like special paper.
They're basically on sleeves.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
sleeves?
Yeah,
Right,
sleeves,
right.
like plastic sleeves. They're all very protected. You know?
Rest in peace to Gemini the Gifted. Man.
Oh, Gemini, the gifted one, man. Yeah, fun photo shoot.
Really
What did you
dope.
shoot? You shoot anything for Jay-Z?
Yeah, I shot his first magazine. I shot the magazine was called Stress Magazine.
Stress was great.
He was his first magazine, and I shot him in front of the Twin Towers, bro. I was in love with the Twin Towers, man. I was shooting the Twin Towers. To me was the was the New York City skyline.
Yeah.
Well, once Big did it, it was like stuck. Everybody wanted it.
Well, you know, I did it before Big.
You did,
You know what I mean? I
yeah.
did it way before him. Way before him. I didn't, you know, look at this book. There's like 5 photo shoots with the World Trade Center. You know what I mean? But yeah, once Big became popular and it was on the magazine. But like, yeah, I definitely did it before him.
You shot with Jay-Z and Jodeci. Is there ever a time? Did you ever be? You know, because there was a time where you were paying dues, and there was a time. Do any of these artists act a little Hollywood with you? You know what I mean? Is there ever a time you felt rushed, or is there ever a time where artists made you feel
Little.
or maybe not even the artist, maybe it's just the team and the label who's like, all right, bro.
Well, the first time I shot, Jodeci was the first in this cover, Diary of a Madman, was the first famous group I ever had. They already sold 1 million records.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
right.
So they came.
Forever My Lady and all that.
Yeah,
'cause
they
they were already
came.
passed.
Oh man, they came like rock stars, bro. Like, you know, that's when I kind of. But I like I don't take things personal when I'm shooting.
Right.
You know what I mean? I matched your energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I matched the energy because, you know, artists are giving me a lot.
Right.
Artists are giving me their soul basically, but not in that sense. But like I have to go into that aura to capture that moment. So you're giving me a lot already. So you're coming in like, I only have time for this time to this time, and you gotta catch it. So I gotta match you. I gotta match that energy. And
Well, there's
be
a lot
ready.
of different personalities too.
And
Some
be-
artists are hyper
Yeah, so-
active, and some are boring.
So what happened, the photo shoot was set up for 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Because I usually do a photo shoot from 10 or 12 hours. Damn. And it was 10 o'clock, we get together. They didn't show up until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Imagine that shit, bro.
Yo,
It's like being at a concert for 5 hours and waiting.
you know what I'm saying? So they didn't show up until 3 o'clock, and to get haircuts because
Ooh.
they weren't groomed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what do? I was like, I started practicing. I started using my assistant, stand over here, let me, test the lights. So by the time they came in, I already had like 5 sets ready, bro.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Right.
So, they came in and, they got their haircuts. They came in, 4 o'clock, I got them, pam, 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 pam. By 4:30, they were gone.
Damn.
They only gave me like 25 minutes.
That's wild.
And
That's
I did
incredible.
that album cover and all those
40
photo
in that
shoots
time.
in like 30 minutes, bro. That's how.
amazing. That is the fucking one, too,
Yeah,
man. That
that's the
shot
one.
is so iconic. By the way, I was a Jodeci fanatic because this is the first time, I'm young and I'm just getting to the point where
You're getting girls?
I'm getting girls, relationships. So I'm sitting up in my room listening to Fiendin' and Cry for You, you know what I'm saying? Alone, all these records, man. That I love Diary of a Madman.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. So that happened like that. So, I match your energy, and I think that you're in a safe space because I'm so like, I'm very open. I gravitate towards energy, right? So
Yep.
I'm able to get in there and capture that moment. I always get the moment, bro. Like, there's not a single
that's dope.
photo shoot that it was like, there might have been a photo shoot that didn't get used, but not because of me.
Right.
That's because some other, executive or whatever.
Say
got
it again.
into-
I'm Danny Hastings.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I always
criminal.
deliver. I always deliver.
That's terrifying to think about that there's a Danny Hastings shoot out there that never got used that's just chilling. Well, you got the negatives anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, and I'm able to release them and enjoy and share them. Like I'm sure Supercat is gonna see that and remember how beautiful those shots were. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and get to share them with people.
This means the world to me because this is all I had for a long time.
Yeah.
Seeing those and then opening up the cover and seeing, the other shots that are inside
Right.
the cover. But now having this book,
And let me tell you, see, in each of the artists have a QR code.
I was going to ask you what that
Yeah.
QR code is in the
So
corner.
the QR code is gonna take you to a dedicated page for the artist, and you're gonna see more pictures.
Wow,
The
bro.
pictures that I couldn't print in here. So you're gonna be able to see gems that you're like, oh shit. And then you're also gonna read the story because I only set up the story up to the first assignment, which was House of Pain. So now if you want to hear about House of Pain, you're gonna click on that QR code and you're gonna read the story of that behind the scenes, and then you're gonna see more pictures and stuff
That's
like that. So the book,
brilliant. That's brilliant and beautiful. And you know what I like about the QR code? It's right there, but it's non-invasive.
it's not invasive, right?
It looks fucking. That's so brilliant. I
Thank you.
love that. Let me
Thank
try
you.
one of those motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
Let me peep that shit.
Are they live now?
They're live, but they're not populated with the content, but it'll take you to the page.
Oh, okay. Let me just test it.
Test
Yeah.
it.
Let's see this. This is fucking cool, man. The OC. Shout out to my brother OC. Love you, bro.
Wow, for real, man. One of the best to ever
so,
do it.
Okay, so it's getting set up.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Dope. That's
Right, but it's
genius.
just-
I love that.
Yeah,
that's
because
beautiful.
it's so much, and I wanted to give you a portfolio.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give you a editorial
Right.
Danny
right.
Hastings. I wanted to give you a portfolio. I want you to see what it was like to walk with my book and bring this book to a label.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're not gonna see words. You're
We'll
only gonna
read
see-
your autobiography later.
You're gonna see the pictures. I gave you the setup in the first
Yep.
the first 5 pictures in the first 5 pages, but then you're gonna see the portfolio, the work,
the magic,
and then
man.
You wanna read about the Ice Cube photo shoot? Scan it. Look it on
Right.
the website. You know what I'm saying? So
That's dope.
That's
That's fire.
it. Danny Hastings, Legendario, Act 1, Rough, Rugged, and Raw. Act 2, Act 1 is from 1992 to 94. Act 2 is called Digging in the Crates because that's when my work was all over the crates. That's 95 to 97. And Act 3 is called #PhotoGod, which was a master from film to digital, and it's from 1998 to the digital era. I don't put a cap on it.
When you come back, we'll talk about AI and digital too.
So if we do shoot Busta Rhymes, you'll be in Act 3. #PhotoGod. I'm just saying that.
You hear that, Buster? You hear that?
Let's go, Busta Rhymes. That has to happen for. Listen, I cannot thank you enough. Man.
Oh,
I
man,
love
thank
you to
you, my
death.
brother.
Honestly,
Love you too, man. Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you from the bottom
you for
of my
coming,
heart.
man.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
dope.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you
dope,
so
my
much,
brother.
man.
I love all the conversations you and I have. You and I talk about everything from family to all different types of things. And that's dope. I appreciate you as a human. You did the world for me from my youth by creating all this magic, and it made my life amazing.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, my brother.
Man, thank you, man.
Love you, bro. Thank you
so
for
much.
coming through.
Thank you.
Danny
And
Hastings.
you'll be on the Act 3 too.
Let's go. Let's go. That's Apathy, Danny Hastings. That's what we got to do. You know what I would love to shoot if you're out here? Like this town. This is my area,
This
the
is
shore life.
is like a cinematic one of those like towns that you see in Hollywood.
Yeah,
New London, baby. New London.
New London,
Yo.
Connecticut, ancient whaling town.
Representing, Rich.
It
Straight
looks
up.
like it looks like Matty McFly's town, from Back to the Future, with the
Oh,
old clock.
word. Yeah.
Like, right?
The Marty McFly joint.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Where they-
Hillsdale.
Well, a little bit, yeah, we're East Coast version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, but
the-
it kind of looks like that, like the whole colonial, buildings and
Old
stuff like
architecture
that.
and all that.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
There's history here.
We find some dope spots. We're gonna go eat. I'm gonna go hang out with Danny. And listen, get the book right now. You can pre-order it. It's got how many signed copies are left?
Well,
it's limited, right?
Yeah,
That's my
it's
point.
limited. Yeah, I actually put 100, but I think I'm probably going to put 150 because
they're cruising.
Yeah, they're going. You know what I mean? So and then I'm only making them available signed, and then later on we'll release them. For the general population. But
When's the release date?
If you appreciate it right now, you could get it signed by me or dedicated. If you say, "Hey, Danny, I want you to sign it to somebody special," I sign it and send it to you.
By the way, too, this is coming from you. You're shipping these out.
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so this is a self-published book. I self-publish it. Like, it's also printed here in the United States. It's not printed in China. So it's really well made, right? Good quality. And, I did everything. I did the design. I did the layout.
It looks great. It looks
the
dope.
curation, and it's coming from me. So you're going to support something that is not only going to support this book, it's also going to help me do the next ones too.
When's the
right?
release date?
The release date is Black Friday.
Black Friday. November 20 what?
Black Friday. So, but this
26th,
one is
maybe?
I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know.
it's on Black Friday. But this one's available now, signed by me. I'm only doing signed copies.
Dope.
Right.
Yes. Thank
Everybody,
you.
Danny Hastings, peace and love.
Peace, everybody. Peace.